today. Before I hop into today's video, I do have a really big announcement. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video to find out what that announcement is. But I thought I would sit down here and have a little chit chat, a little Q&A while I arrange some flowers. Not gonna lie, having an open container of water near all this technology is a little, makes me nervy. But we're just gonna keep going. So these are some flowers that my boyfriend gave me to ask me to be his Valentine. And obviously I said yes. But I've had it for a few days now and it kind of needs to be freshened up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that while I have this little Q&A with you guys. There was a quote that I actually heard the other day on the Drew Barrymore show that said, "Flowers are not supposed to last. They're supposed to remind us to stay in the present. They bloom, they grow, they blossom, they die. But it's to remind us to stay in the present and not force things to last longer than they should." I was like, wow, that's a really good metaphor. Oh, that did not work. Okay. So basically, I'm also going to show you guys a little bit of like how I arrange flowers. Since these are old and wet, I currently have them sitting on a plastic bag, but since they're old and wet, I'm just going to put them in here and then rearrange it. That's not typically how I normally do it if I have fresh flowers, but since these have been sitting there for a little bit, that's what I'm going to go with. Old or new, I always rip off any of the excess leaves. They're at the base of the stem, and then same goes with old or new. I cut off a little fresh section because it kind of cuts off that old part of the flower and kind of gives it a little bit more extra life for a little bit longer, because it's like you're cutting off like the old part and kind of, wow, this is tough. Okay. Kind of reopening the wound, I guess you could say, to absorb the water. I'm just going to go ahead and rip some of these old leaves off. But this is how I make my bouquets last a little bit longer. But anyways, while I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and answer some of you guys' questions. Because I did go onto Instagram and I asked you guys if you had any relationship questions or anything like that. If you guys have been following me for at least over the past 2 years, then you would know, or if you follow me on Instagram, then you would know that I have been dating someone. And he's been on my channel a couple times, but he's not on it a lot because this is Ashley's Roses. So I know it's been a while since he's been on here, and I know people have had some questions and have been wanting some updates regarding, oh my word, regarding our relationship and how's that going and such. So I thought, since it's Valentine's Day, let's give you all a little update. Okay. Question number 1. What's the ideal best creative date you'd like to go on that your boyfriend/girlfriend has to plan? Okay, I know the person that sent this question, and not gonna lie, I'm a little confused. I don't know if you mean past or present, so I'm gonna answer it both. What's the best creative date that my boyfriend has planned, and then what's the one I'd like to go on? I'll answer it that way because I'm a little confused, but it's okay. I know the person that sent that in. My favorite dates that my boyfriend has made or has created or planned are the very simple dates. Okay, so the first one that was definitely the one I remember the most, it's probably like my top favorite of our first dates, was when we had a picnic. It was a very spontaneous date, but I had a really rough day, and all I wanted to do was go and have Caesar salad by the beach, and that's exactly what we did. He made a music playlist, and we sat by the beach eating Caesar salad and listening to this playlist he made me. And the next one's probably would have to be our 1 year. He made my favorite food, and then I had just made him I made myself a blanket, but I also made him a blanket where it's like Harry Potter blankets. His is like has all the different houses on one side, and on the other it's yellow because he's a Hufflepuff. Mine has the Marauders map on it. On the other side it's green because I'm a Slytherin. And that's when we had just gotten our Build-A-Bear. I took him on a little... I had the date portion of our 1 year, and then he had the nighttime version, like planning of the... I planned the daytime, he I planned the daytime date of our 1 year, and he planned the nighttime date of our 1 year. And so for the daytime, we went to Build-A-Bear, and I got us these Build-A-Bears, and on their feet it has one is a Hufflepuff, and on the other one it's a Slytherin. So we went to Build-A-Bear and dressed them up in their Hogwarts uniforms, and I have the Hufflepuff since he's the Hufflepuff and he has the Slytherin, so we have the opposite ones. And so we got to go do that throughout the day, and then at night he set out our blankets, and then set up these flowers, and then put our teddy bears out, and then he like set up a picnic and at indoor picnic where he lives, and then he put like candles all over the place. I don't know if I have pictures of this. If I do, I'll put it on the screen. And then he made my favorite food, and then put on Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter, which is my favorite Harry Potter. And like I'm not the type of person where I love expensive things. Like if there's something that I like that's expensive, I'll probably end up saving up for it and getting it myself. I'm very simple. I don't need crazy expensive things. And I like simple, and he knows that. I mean, every once in a while it's nice to have like a little expensive treat, but no, he knows I like simple. So that's probably my favorite, because just like the amount of intention that goes into it. And then this date is still to happen. It has not happened. It was supposed to be my birthday, a little birthday date that he was going to plan for me, not last year, 2 years ago, where he was going to take me to all the film locations of La La Land, because he knows I love visiting the real life locations of films. But I had just gotten my booster shot and my flu shot, and I was sick as a dog. So instead, he took me to go get tacos, and we sat by the beach, which is sweet and all. I loved it. It definitely made up for it. But he knows I still want to go to La La Land. How do you guys deal with the hard moments in your relationship? Last time we did a Q&A video, I'd have to go back and see what we said, but I would say our answers are a lot more different, because we definitely have a lot more ups and downs this past couple years, because we've still been learning how to handle conflict and resolve it, and it was not an easy time, but we did learn more about ourselves. I feel like these flowers have gone bad. So we definitely learned a lot more about ourselves of how we resolve conflict. And one of them is, I know it's like cheesy to say, but it's like, don't go to bed angry, because honestly, we both don't sleep well when we've been in an argument or something like that. So it's best if we try to resolve it. But if it's like a argument that started at night, we clearly do have to go to bed, but it gives us time to think. So if there are moments where we have an argument or disagreement and hardship, sometimes taking a moment away just to get some fresh air, but also take a step back and reanalyze what these emotions are, or why are we bickering or something like that. We take a moment apart and we come back. But also at the same time, it's learning how to express ourselves and express our emotions without blame. Instead of being like, you did this, you did that, you did this, it's like, hey, I feel like, for example, I could say like, I feel like, the way that you spoke to me earlier made me seem like I did something wrong. I'm not trying to cast blame here. I would like some clarity of if I had said something wrong, or if there was a different approach I could have had. Or like, hey, I'm a little frustrated because of this, this, and this. How can we work on this together so that I'm not sounding rude to you, or I don't get frustrated with you, or so that I don't feel like this, or like, is there something that I'm missing, or did we miscommunicate about something? So that allows us time to like think about it and then come back together and then properly and healthily discuss rather than attacking each other. So listen and communicate it a little bit better. What's the secret behind surviving long distance? So we have the beginning portion of our relationship is long distance. There's still moments where we have to be long distance, like trips and such come up and all that. I feel like everyone has their different tips and tricks to surviving long distance. That works. I like that. I'm satisfied. Oh, that's actually really pretty. Yeah, I like how it kind of draws you in. Everyone has their different techniques for flower arrangements, but I like the kind of, it really draws you into it rather than having it be all crazy. I like where it can draw you in and you can kind of see the focus of it. So anyways, that is my, here, a little bit closer. Anyways, okay, continuing on with the questions. So like I said, everyone has their own different techniques for long distance and what helps them survive it and such. And I think it also depends on what your love language is. My love language is quality time, acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch. What's the other one? Gift giving. Gift giving is kind of on the bottom. And so for my boyfriend, the top two for him is words of affirmation and physical touch. And so when you're long distance, something that helps us is like having something to hold on to. So that's why I kind of got us the Build-A-Bears for 1 year. And then we spray each other's, like, I spray my perfume on that one and he sprays his cologne on mine. That way we can still have like the scent and such and something to hold on to. That's also like the hoodie. But also like understanding, like respecting their distance and their own personal lives when you're long distance, but also at the same time communicating and having that time of like, hey, like, can I talk to you at the end of the day? Like setting up a schedule. For me, doing like a little check-in of like, how was your day at the end of the day when we're long distance, that's always helped me. And for him, that's helped him as well, but also like the physical thing of having like a the Build-A-Bear and such, but also like checking in, like giving updates, like, hey, I'm gonna go and do this now. Not out of like I need to know where you are at all times. It's just kind of like respect and communication. Have y'all talked about getting married? Yes, we have. When's the wedding date? Wouldn't y'all like to know? Okay, so last but not least, I do have a little announcement, which is kind of why I was arranging this bouquet of flowers and why I was talking a little bit about relationships and a little bit about wedding stuff, since you guys, I barely touched on it. But I know that there are people out there who have a lot more questions and such, and also want to know the 411 about my relationship and such. So here's the real tea, the real chisme. Talking about relationships has always been something that I was always very hesitant about, because so many people would ask, like literally since middle school, about boyfriends and crushes and everything. And then once I did have a boyfriend, weddings and engagement, just everything, rather than staying in the present, they would be rushing ahead. And it sometimes made me feel like I couldn't enjoy the present or enjoy what I currently was experiencing. And so because of all that, and because of that growing up and receiving those types of questions over the years, it's just a topic that I just really don't talk about a lot. Like, yes, on Instagram, I'll choose what I want to post, but like when it comes to talking, you have to be in my inner circle to get the 411. Anything outside of that, you really don't get it until I post something. But I did receive a request from a lot of people, and it's actually something I've been working on for a while. Love poems. So last year, January 27th, I put out my first poetry book called Beauty Grown from Thorns. And if you guys have been following me for a while, then you guys would know that is currently being adapted into a short film, and we are literally almost so close to being done, and then I can release the trailer and share it with you guys and everything like that. Well, Beauty Grown from Thorns was my first poetry book, and it was a book that was never really supposed to happen. And its poems ranged over 10 years of so many like ups and downs and trials of my life, and then cystic fibrosis, the ups and downs, and a little bit of touches, but also heartbreak and loss and things like that. And writing love poems was just not something I was interested at the time, or because I hadn't really experienced a lot of love with relationships. I mean, with family, yes, but not when it came to having a relationship with a boyfriend. And over time, I started writing some love poems, and these are two of my producer friends here at school. Things have changed since that time. So, would you like to reintroduce yourself?
I'm Salticon. I'm still a producer.
Yep.
I'm still Ashley's friend, but we are also now dating.
Before the flowers were gathered and the bouquet was made, Beauty Grown from Thorns rose to bloom. Ashley Wilson shared her journey of living with cystic fibrosis, loss, heartache, and finding strength through her faith. In I Caught the Bouquet, flowers were gathered and arranged to share a beautiful love that grew. Selected poems from Beauty Grown from Thorns have been included to complete the story and reveal who the muse of some of her letters of love have been about. And now enjoy a sneak peek from the book with the opening poem of I Caught the Bouquet. I caught the bouquet. I've never cared for catching a bouquet or calling all the single ladies to the front. To toss a bundle of flowers to a bunch of girls to then hint, "You're next to get hitched," blinded me in an unwanted spotlight I'd tried my best to avoid. Petals and leaves fly up into the air while girls fight for a bunch of flowers. Chill. It's not that big of a deal. At least to me it's not. A girl will squeal with delight, running to the bride with a handful of flowers, while the other girls with no ring in sight walk out of the spotlight. Catch the bouquet, they say. It'll be fun, they say. I'd rather not. Purchase your copy of I Caught the Bouquet today on Amazon, soon to be available on other sites. Yes, so it's available on Amazon right now, and it's my second poetry book, and I'm so excited. My friend Marissa Soto, who's an amazing costume designer, might I add, she did the illustration. I'm going to do a whole other video like about the book once I physically have the book, but she did the cover artwork, and it's beautiful. And my friend Lily Arlene did a little bit of translation in the book because there is a little bit of Spanish. If you don't know, my boyfriend's Mexican, so it's a language that I'm still learning. Even though I took Spanish in high school, in college, I really did struggle with it. So, I'm trying, I'm learning, I'm relearning, but she helped me with some of the translation of a couple poems. So thank you. And I'm so excited. My second poetry book. This one, it's a little bit more nerve-wracking because it's a lot more vulnerable, and sharing a little bit more of excerpts of my heart. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you guys to read it and read it. I did tell one of my friends, the difference between the last book and this one, because I was telling her as I was finishing it, I'm like, I am so nervous. Like, why am I so nervous about this one? She's like, well, it's a very different genre of your poetry compared to last time. I'm like, yeah, that's true. The last one was a little bit more pain, but a little bit more sassy. And this one is all about love. And like I said, it's not something I talk about a lot, but, my boyfriend's my number one supporter, and he's my muse, and I wanted to write some poems. Okay, we're done. We're going to stop. So now I'm getting uncomfy. So, but go buy I Caught the Bouquet on Amazon, and let me know if you guys buy it. Take pictures if you do end up buying it, and tag me in it, because I would love to see that. And yeah. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, I hope I taught you a little bit about arranging flowers. And I don't know how to end this video. But anyways, talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!